Hey, Joanne, I'm so happy to see you here on my Hero series. How are you?
I'm very well, and thank you. I'm excited for this conversation, so thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so I always say that let's talk as if we were in a restaurant out on the beach or something, but I can't provide you any of them because we are
Oh, well.
far away.
We're poles apart. Yes.
Oh, yes, Joanne is from Navigate Biz. She's a business mentor, a business coach, and we have so much in common when we talk to each other. And let's start with this. What is your background and what were the challenges that probably brought you this far?
Yeah, right. So my background is I've been in business for around 20 years. Let's go back a bit prior to that. So I was in banking, and I was one of the few females in the banking industry then who was learning and writing commercial and what we would call plant and equipment lending. So it was a very blokey bloke environment. So I was one of the few females who knew how to do that. And then my career evolved into teaching people how to write those because there were no qualifications or anything that sat around it. So that's where I got my passion for education in the adult sector. So I've owned registered training organisations, I've owned training organisations, I've owned a lot of businesses over the years because of the structures that I set up. So I have a broad depth of industries that I've owned. I've owned accounting practice, law firms, IT, marketing, RTOs, education, Navigate Biz. My husband was in construction, so I've got a broad depth of industry. But how did I land to Navigate Biz? Well, there's a whole other story that I could really talk your ear off about my business journey. But I guess in 2016, in summary, and mindful of time, in summary, I ended up liquidating a unlisted public company that had 10 companies under its umbrella, and I liquidated that in late 2016. That was a pretty confronting thing, and it was as the consequence of that was I needed to go find a job. I had to sell all my assets to look after the staff and pay super and all those things. That's just what needed to be done. And you know what? Do I regret all those things? That piece, yes. That's not easy. That's definitely not an easy journey. And it took 5 years to unwind. So it took a long time to unwind. But man, I learned a lot. Like, I don't have an MBA in business, but I reckon I've got the highest level of MBA that you can possibly get to unwind an unlisted public company. So for clarity's sake, it wasn't the entity limited. So being unlisted meant that it wasn't on the public stock exchange. We did have shareholders and all that sort of thing. So regardless of whether it was public or not, it had a lot of complexity in unraveling that web. So I landed at Navigate Biz with my current business partner. We, in late 2016, were just coincidentally exiting the businesses that we're in. So I built that business to 30 million. He built his business to 100 million. And we're at a point in our lives, I'd known him for about 5 years through a networking group. And we actually sat down and realized really how much we really loved business, and that we were concerned about the failure rate of business ownership. I choose deliberately not to put the word small in there because it doesn't matter what size it is. But business ownership is a isolating, difficult place to hang out. There's lots of things that I know that you can make it not so hard and lonely. But we decided we would form Navigate Biz to literally put a dent in the business failure rates. Now, you can argue whether it's 60%, 95%, I don't really care. It's just a number that's not acceptable, right? Because I guess particularly, where are we? We're April 2022 now. We've seen a wave of people starting businesses, and a lot of it has been driven by the fact that they no longer have a role because of the impact of COVID, stood down, all those things. Think lots of change going on. But so many of those people are not entering business ownership for the right reason. If they're looking to replace their salary, they are entering business ownership with an employee mindset.
Wow.
They don't have the mindset of the employer. Now, people might argue, well, hey, I've just started my business. I don't employ anybody. Well, you should aspire to do that, because solopreneur category is hard, and that is the place that we see so much business failure. So So Navigate Biz, yes, mentoring, coaching, we do all those sort of things. And it's about really, it starts with you as the business owner. It's not about like the pen you sell or the notebook or the coffee or the construction that you sell or the whatever you sell, doesn't matter, product or offering. It has to start with you. Why are you starting this thing? What are you looking to impact? What are you looking to leave? You might love selling pens, but maybe it's the outcome of the sale of the pens that you love. It enables a lifestyle, enables you to give back. So that's what we're about. We want to expand business owners' mindset to think larger, because when you put the word small in front of it, you automatically go with small goals, small aspirations, small drive. We want to knock that out of you, and we want to put a fire in your belly so that you think big and are excited and want to grow this business, and you want to be here for the long term.
Yeah, I love that. I hear that from my mentor a lot, that a business should be set up to support an incredible life.
Exactly. Why else would you do it? Like, we're in business, unless you're a genuine charity, you're here to generate profit.
And
don't be ashamed of that.
Some people, they just really want to replace $1,000 a week or $1,500 a week, and that's
scary.
Really far from thinking impact and purpose and big. Yeah. So how do you help them? Do you have a program, or what's happening when they come to you?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the people that come to us are the people that I'm going to swear. Is that okay?
Go for it. Be real.
That's me. I'm not bad swearing, but anyway, they have what I call the holy shit moment, because they've been in business for the 3 or more years. And this is really critical, because the people who are brand new startups, a lot of them have a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, and I'm going to say they've got a lot of ego. They're going to go and do a quick course, whip up a website. It's rare that they have purpose and values and all those sort of things in their mind before they start. So that's not a place we hang out. It's a really crowded place. There's a lot of people that serve those people. Some of them serve them well, some of them not so well. So for us, we want to talk to those people, 3 years-ish in, because what we notice is those people are both feet in. They're probably up to their hips, if not up to their neck. And they're at this point, they're going, oh, holy shit.
I'm ready.
Now they're ready for some, because they've actually felt some pain.
Yeah.
And that sounds terrible, but we need them to have felt some pain, because unless they feel the pain, they don't appreciate that they need to surround themselves. They need coaches, mentors, and I'm putting a plural on that, because it's not just one. It's across many aspects of the business. They need to create a team. They need to work on their mindset. They need to have big goals. They need to know their numbers. So the person we talk to are those people who are just going, I am tired of Googling, trying to find the answer, doing this little thing and that little thing, and it's not working. Can you please help me? And I guess the good thing for us is myself and Nick Barnstall, we're across, between us 50 years in business, between us 40 industries, between us 12 countries, up to $100 million turnover and over. So, we've started with zero, and we've built and we've restarted from zero. We've both done that as a result of being in business. So I guess what we bring is that, and again, it's the no BS approach. So to the point that our podcast is called that, our clubhouse is called that, because you don't need me to go, oh, there, you'll be okay. There's a little cuddle. Come on, pick yourself up. No, you're not going to get that from us. We're not going to be brutal, but we're going to be honest. And we're going to tell you what you need to do. And, we're not the organization to do it for you, because if you want somebody to do it for you, we're not them, because we're huge believers in, even if you're one, even if you've got 10 staff, you need to be doing the do in your business, because unless you know how to do the do, how do you outsource it? How do you employ someone? How do you know what they need to do and what the results need to be? So yeah, you don't need to have a long-term goal to be doing everything in your business, but at least know how to do it.
Wow, such a key concept that I've heard from you, especially, which is very similar in my journey as well, that my best clients are the ones who've been suffering for sometimes decades.
That's the pain. Yeah.
And they realize that there is something here that is holding me back.
Yeah,
but also, holding their hand with tough love.
Correct. Yes. Like
Because
with genuine, like there's care in our hearts, but and because we aspire to these business owners to take the world by the, by the horns and give them a good shake and say, here I am, I've arrived. Come use my service and product. That's what we want. And the only way to do that is to go in both feet with the right mindset, right? And I know that's a really important thing for you. So these business owners for us, they absolutely must believe that what they do will change their customers' lives.
Yeah.
And I actually don't care whether it's a pen, a cup of coffee, or building a highway down the motorway.
with clarity
Actually,
of outcome, yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is. Like I often speak about, consider this. I'm a business owner. I need to go and get a coffee. I'm going to drive to Brisbane because I've got to get up there by a certain time. My driver to my cafe operator is to know that I can request it, or the minute I walk in, they go, hi, Joanne, you're this coffee, here you go. That's life-changing for me because I'm not mucking around and I know I can get on the road and get to my appointment in time. So just because you think of yourself, I'm just a little cafe owner, I just sell simple stationery, stop thinking small. Know and genuinely believe that what you do makes a difference to your customers.
And probably have that feeling, if this is the test of the concept, then franchise, network, whatever would
Doesn't matter.
scale it up, and then there is an actual business.
Yeah.
Has there been a time when you felt lack of self-worth, or were really just powerless with
Absolutely.
circumstances? Do you want to share a story?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to share. So this is going back a few years. Now, I mentioned already that I liquidated a company. Now, that company, I launched that in late 2014. And by late 2016, I liquidated it. Now, that was a business that I started from zero and took it to 30 million in that short space of time. But I can tell you absolutely that very much the majority of that time, when I got up and it was highly profitable, it was great. I had 100 staff, 4 offices down the Eastern Seaboard. I can absolutely categorically, hand on heart, tell you that that was really hard for me, even though I had 100 staff. The reason it was hard for me was when I got up in the morning, I didn't want to go to work. I absolutely did not want to go to work. So the money was there. Like, we did some amazing things in those 2 years. I took 70 people to Alaska on a cruise to thank them for the effort they did. I took 10 of my staff, I hired a plane and flew them to Sydney and had lunch on the harbour as a thank you. Like, we did some awesome things. But Joanne was not happy, and I know why that was the case. I was not connected head and heart. I was not connected to my values because it was growing so fast. And so, the downturn of business creates complexity. Massive growth in business creates complexity. And that was not an overnight success. It had taken me 20 odd years to get to the point that I was able to grow a business really fast. So, because I've been in the industry a long time, I was an RTO, all that sort of stuff. But what I know was, because it was so fast and furious, there were decisions being made on the fly. I was, and I'll own this 110%. There was decisions I was making on the fly that I was not considering properly. And so after the decisions were made, I was getting this, we call disease the word that for a reason. I had dis-ease in my gut. There were butterflies every day. And I got to the point where I went, I don't even know if I can step off this treadmill. It's going to fly. It's going to throw me. And it got to the point where I had no choice. I had to liquidate it because of other external factors to me. It wasn't my choice. But I will say to you that the relief of stepping away from that was insane.
And did you experience health effects of that?
Yeah.
Not able to process things? If you want to
absolutely
hear that, because I believe for some of the people listening to this who are business owners, that's the last sign to just reach out for help before you hit the wall, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It absolutely affected my health. you know, there was a period of time that I was literally in a fetal position on the floor. And that's not a fun place to hang out. I did realize, I had the presence of mind to realize that, you know what, this is not a good, I can only go up. So I picked myself up. But what I made the mistake of was feeling that I had to act fast. I didn't give myself enough time. So I went and got a job. Was it the job that I loved? Absolutely not. But I felt the pressure that I had to replace the income that because money just stopped, right? I still had a daughter at school. My husband was retired. You know, you can see I'm of an age that it's the last thing you would expect somebody to start again. Like, I'm nearly 60, and this only happened a few years ago. So what I noticed was, over a period of time, I was getting unwell. I wasn't making the right decisions, and you know, thank God I had the business partner that I have, in that he helped me to, you know, he was the behind the scenes mentor for Joanne. Like, I'm a mentor and coach for business owners myself, but hey, I need my own mentor and coach. I need my own community. I need to upskill myself. And I realized that I actually need to take time for me, and be prepared to say no, and know what's not negotiable, because I'd lost that. And so, you know, did I go and get counseling? No, but I had somebody that I was in business with that had faith that I actually had some skills that he felt was of value to the Navigate Biz brand, which was wonderful. I had plenty of skills, but I didn't have the mindset. It took a little bit of time, but with a lot of effort, with spending time on self-reflection, meditation, walking, going to the gym, changing my diet, and continuing to educate myself, and being involved in networks like you and I belong to, the wonderful 6-Star Business Network. That is a really great place to hang out, because we all are there to support one another. Like, a lot of networks are out there, but this is next level, right? And that's why it's called 6-Star. So I realized I needed to go and find my tribe. So that's what I proactively did. And that, you know, that obviously came about middle to late last year. So there's been a good period of time, like 2016 to middle of 2021. That's 5 years that it's taken me to unwind this thing to get it to where it needs to be. I had a nice, lovely facade up that everybody thought everything was fine. No, it wasn't.
The impression that I have kind of gathered from you, and of course, we haven't spoken for a while, but I kind of seen your face, was that you landed now an absolute bulletproof mentor and coach. You've been through all of the mistakes and the challenges and the failures. So now you're kind of ready to take someone fast.
Share, like, you know, don't go the long road that Nick and I did of success, not so great, left turn, right turn. Let us smooth stuff. Like, business is always like this. It will always be like this, whether it's a pandemic, a GFC, a flood, a fire, a war in another country, price of oil, logistics, whatever there is always this. But sometimes it's this and doing left and right. So let us just smooth it a bit and find a more direct path without too many U-turns and left turns and right turns, because we're not going to promise you that it's going to be easy. It's not. But you can make it easier by surrounding yourself with the right people. So it's the Navigate Biz community. It's people like you, Andra, to help people to get in the right mindset and believe in themselves, because your business starts with you. Like, if you're not right, like I learned that later, if I'm not right, I can't be the best version of me for my team. And my team can be my customers, my supplier. I might not have any staff. So your team is whoever you interact with. So how can you be the best version of you if this isn't right and this isn't right? Head and heart and gut. They all need to be aligned.
Yes, and I believe there's a lot of people out there who have no idea how much is the work behind the scenes. They all see the results and the facade, but
and that's the challenge, right? We've got these marvelous things, phones. I'll get it in camera. Phones that we see on Instagram. Oh, somebody's got a 50,000 followers and they're doing all this. Overnight success. Well, what a load of crap that is, right? A, your followers are not your customers. Too many people believe that they are. You don't own that database. Do you know their name, email, and phone number? And do you put it in a CRM or a place, a repository that you can actually talk to them? And, this overnight success, like people have said to me, oh, that overnight success you had, Joanne. Well, no, it took me 25 years to get to that point to do it really well. But even so, I made mistakes in the middle of that because it was too fast.
Wow.
And that, yeah. So I don't want that for our business owners.
Yeah,
there's a better way to go.
And I think you pointed out one more thing again, which is speed. The more time someone is stuck or suffering, they go out of business. This is how you pretty much started this, that they won't survive unless they are doing the right thing and fix up their mindset. And then, even then, it's not an easy journey.
And it's not guaranteed. Like a couple of things that come to mind. A lot of business owners say to me, I don't like change. Hey, and my response is go get a job, because change is life. That's the fuel of business. Don't do that. The other thing, I don't know if you saw, I did a poll on LinkedIn last week, and I wanted to know what were business owners looking to maintain their currency and upskill themselves. I gave them a choice of a mentor, an industry expert with a program, Googling, YouTubing. And interestingly, I was surprised, but not surprised. I had a 50-50 split between a mentor or coach and industry experts. Categorically. Oh, the other option was formal qualifications. Now, I know for many businesses, you have to have a formal qualification to build a house or give financial advice. That's not talking about that. And qualifications have an absolute place if you know who's delivering it, how it's delivered. What are you going to get out of it? Like these people who want an MBA that they just want to tick a box. There are so many providers of MBAs, and there are some amazing ones out there that are absolutely valid, and that's valid for business owners and it's valid for the corporate world. But it was very interesting and edifying to hear that the business owners in LinkedIn that I am connected to absolutely believe a coach, and every one of them put their hand up and say, man, I wish I did that from the moment I started my business. And too many people don't put the power of what that's going to give you. So I wonder if we should share what the difference is between a coach and a mentor, because that might be good for our listeners, because they are very different, right? In my mind, super different.
Please share it. Yeah.
So a business coach, in my mind, a business coach should absolutely have the credibility of owning businesses. And this is a plural. You should be very mindful or careful of a business coach whose their only business they've owned is their coaching business. That for me is not enough depth of currency in business ownership. Now that might create a little bit of a furor in the people listening to this, but if you're coaching a business owner about businesses and the only business you've owned is your business coaching business, I challenge there's enough depth and breadth in that. Maybe you've done it for 50 years and you've gained some credibility. So that, caveat there. But a business coach, in my mind, is somebody who is not there to give you the answer, because invariably you have the answer inside. So a business coach is almost like the person poking you here, right between there, going, tell me more. Why do you think that's? What are the consequences? So they're constantly asking you questions to pull it out of you. And that can be, like, I've had business coaches and they've been amazing, because at the end of it, Joanne's having a bit of a cry and going, actually, you're right. I know what I need to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And they will hold you accountable. So they absolutely are awesome and definitely need to be there for any business owner. And they should evolve, because business coaches it's like going from a certificate 1 through to a degree or a master's. There's different levels of capability. So don't feel that you've got one, you've got to stick with it. And of course, that's a paid arrangement as a rule. For me, a mentor can often be, a mentor is giving you their time. They may charge, but a mentor is there to share their experience to check you, to challenge you, to connect you to their network potentially, and to grow you. So they may give you the answers. They may say, have you thought about this?
Shortcut.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's why I feel Navigate Biz, we sit on the fence where, in some aspects and some conversations, I'm a coach. In other conversations, I know I can show you how to do this. You need to go and see this network, go and look at that platform, go talk to this person. So they're two very different things. So I think the owners who are sitting, listening to or watching this should be really mindful. I fear that a lot of business owners go, coach, I need a coach. They're Googling a coach near me. So what they might end up with is a life coach, which may or may not be valid, but if they're looking for a business coach, that's a completely different, one's talking about life and emotions and looking after your personal you. Business coach is quite different. So be careful what you find, but be prepared. It's like recruiting. It's like finding a business partner. Put them through an interview. Show me where you have helped a business grow. Where's your credibility? You should have it all over your website, and it's sitting all there for me to be go and find really easy. How many businesses have you owned? Because it actually doesn't matter for either of those two, whether they're in your industry or not, because the concept of business, no matter what you sell, it doesn't matter. Concept of business is the same. The mentor, you might want to find a mentor in your industry to grow your business, but you might find a mentor who's grown and scaled businesses. And mentors can also be authors, podcasters, people you never meet, but they've got a lot of information to share. So that, for me, that's the two differences.
Well, Joanne, it was absolute gold to hear that distinction from you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else before we wrap up that you want to share as a one-liner?
I think the biggest, I'd like to think the biggest takeaway for anyone listening to this or watching is mindset, and you is the most important fundamental piece. If you are not in the right headspace, in the right space of understanding where you're going to take the business, if you've got big goals, I would say to anybody listening, watching this, go back to that. Go back to just ask yourself, why did I start this business? What am I looking to achieve? And if it's because you're not so fussed on pens, but you love the fact that you can sell a lot, do it really well, make an impact for your business owners, because there's pens and pens, right? Fountain pen and a simple pen, doesn't really matter. The profit that comes out of that, will you be able to give back? Will you be able to give your family and your supply and the ripple effect of the positive outcomes? That's fine. You don't have to be absolutely in love with the product or service. It certainly helps. But what does it help you to do? And that's, days go to custard often in business. They don't quite pan out as often. So you need a square on your wall. Like I'm looking at a wall, and it needs to have your vision board on it. It needs to have your one-page business plan, so that when you've got those days that you go, man, that was a hard day. Oh, that's why I'm doing it, because I'm going to buy that, and I'm going to do that for my child, and I'm going to do that for that charity, whatever it is. So it keeps you going. So go back to you. If anything and you're not sure and there's a little bit of wobbliness, go back to you. Go dive deep into you.
And one last question. I really love that. And I tend to say that, your passion is your compass. So your business should be around what you love doing anyway. But where will people find you or business?
That's a really good point. Thank you.
And I will share whatever you want under the video, but if you want to just tell us.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. So they'll find us simply on Navigate Biz, and it's spelt weird. NAVIG8, the number, biz.com, and everything's there. Actually, my phone number is there. So what I love, there's a lot of people who enter our community and they go, actually, I'm not entirely sure the pathway that I need to take within the Navigate Biz community. Well, just give me a call. There's lots of options to book times with me, and no cost, no obligation. And what I will guarantee you is that if anybody rings me and we have a conversation, whether it's 10 minutes or half an hour, I will make sure you've got something to take away, regardless of what it is, because I want to make it valuable for you. Our time is precious for all of us. So I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance, gets the opportunity to take something away that they can implement in their business.
Well, I loved connecting with you.
Thank you. Me too. It's always a great conversation.
And I hope we'll keep this going, huh?
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely.